capture loans. So we built an algorithm with Kovacs where they can pop a loan in there, and based on the text that's on the page and proximity to one another, and they'll compare the images back and forth. They'll classify, separate, and extract data off of those pages, off of those images, and automatically index separate it so it turns up in all it's already separated into different folders without having to put set sheets on it and so forth. So that's some of the things we do as well. However, what mainly we're going to talk about today is document management in general. So we can keep this very informal. We don't have this set of things that we want to necessarily go through. We'll answer any questions. We've got a couple of things we want to show you that might spark some interest around some of the things that we've been doing. So, as I mentioned, we're mainly a systems integrator. We take other folks' technology, put them together as a solution, and support that solution going forward. However, in the past couple of years, we have developed an application called Forms in Motion. And so it's at base level, it is a way to centrally store and maintain forms and manage electronic forms throughout any organization. Okay, so that one central location, swap those out, folks can access those from mobile clients, web clients, data client, whatever application they need to access those from. And we've built some applications or some custom solutions utilizing that tool as well, which we're showing today. So this is, if anybody's been by our booth, we forgot, by the way, we forgot our backdrop. So we have one of the more uninteresting looking booths. Okay, I'd blame somebody else, but I guess it could be me. Right, so you can't really help the bummer to this little grab. Visually, it's not very attractive. Attendees, not you, of course. So this is, for North Carolina County, we've developed Forms in Motion on we put a Forms in Motion application on a kiosk, very simply. So this is kind of the front door to our downstream on-base workflow and document management system, where when somebody presents at Human Services facility there, and all they have is a couple of documents they need to drop off, they can go to the kiosk and take care of that. Okay, so they can, and in this instance, I have a birth certificate from the state of Montana. So I've got a birth certificate, and by the way, this is our development kiosk. It would look much prettier and so forth. It's just one we're rolling today. So I drop my document in the scanner, submit a document, so I put in put in another social, but I also have a place for case number, county case numbers as it relates to human services. So I type this in as well, and I do a lookup against the database to confirm that, to make sure it's a valid case number, social, whatever happens to be there, and then I continue. So at this point, it's prompting me to select the document type, and in this case, identification. I'll scan that document, presumably, yes. And it's asking me, do I have more documents to scan? No, I don't. Just presenting me with a receipt here. And this was something that's very important to our customers, which was, previously they walked out in a long line, or after hours they dropped the documents in the drop-box, which meant that they were going to be scanned and nobody would be able to figure out where they were or find them. So in this case, it makes the client feel comfortable that, I dropped this document off, it's in the system, and I have a receipt with an image, it's much more an image of what I dropped off as well. So you can get a CVS receipt if you drop off 12 things in the Anybody get a CVS reference? That's all over Twitter, right? I think I saw somebody dressed up as a CVS receipt for Halloween. Okay, so it's asked me to. And you notice I've got two different pieces. It says different pieces of registration, but it's really, we're in lieu of collecting cards that are going to just sit somewhere. We thought we'd use technology actually. You come by, we use this to do a lookup of your name from the registration list and allow you to actually type this in here, submit it, and we'll send you an email for confirmation using on So that could be emailing the caseworker, hey, I've been waiting for John Doe to drop off, utility bill, some verification, identification, and so forth, to let them know. We could also, at the end of the day, send out one big email, because you may not want to get 50 emails. You get one email at the end of the day that says, hey, you've got these clients dropped off these documents, so tend to them and look at that.
And then one other piece to show you that Homebase has a mobile application that runs on iPhone, Windows, BlackBerry, Android, Windows tablets, etc. All of those clients. So I'm actually in the Homebase app right now, and what you see is two searches: case documents, which Chris just submitted a case document, HR documents. I'll go over HR in a minute. But if I click on case documents, a screen for searching is going to load, and I'll zoom in for you. And I have a couple of things I can search by: first name, last name, social security number, date range, whatever. You can control that search. So we did submit this for John Doe. So I'm going to search the system for John Doe. Click my search button. And then I have my identification for John Doe. Notice I have my first name, last name, social security number. All that information was entered by that person at the kiosk. So nobody at the county is doing that indexing or collecting that data. That person that used the kiosk told us what document type it is, it's an identification document, and then what data we want to store it by. If we wanted to, once again, we can view that document all from within this app and all security based. So if I don't have access to that document, I can't get to it. Okay.
Any questions for us?
The user has to have a new name. We have to have Homebase view. Is it an actual application on the iPhone or on the tablet?
So it's two flavors. There is an actual application you download from the App Store that you do have to add your own base credentials in, or that link that we sent to the email. When I click on it, we have it configured that it passes the security through that link. So when I click on it, it opens up in whatever phone browser, regardless. And you don't have to have the app stored in there. If I were to forward that link over to Chris, it wouldn't work anymore because it's only for my credentials. If that makes sense. You want to introduce the HR onboarding?
Sure. So, and we can get into some, so we're going to show you another application that we developed specific to Forms in Motion, our product. But again, we're going to leave some time for specific document management workflow and the integration of OnBase into other applications. Time for that as well. So this is an HR onboarding for our customers that have a real challenge around that process, the papers and so forth. So what we've done is developed, so they're doing new hiring in their ERP system. So they get into that process. They're passing that data over to us for all those, say, 40, 50 new hires that they have on that monthly process, on a monthly basis. And they bring the new hires into one spot, and they're able to take that data, confirm the data that's been passed to them, make updates to that data, and then push a button and propagate that to all the forms that need to be filled out on that new hire process. And then at the end of that, once they can do the signatures there, whether it be Topaz signature pad or on the iPad or device itself. And then at the end of that, push a button, sending the changes back to their ERP system, and then the data and the documents to OnBase for long-term storage that's integrated with their ERP system. So it's all one self-contained thing. Like that's it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So this, as Chris said, is another flavor of Forms in Motion. I'm running this on my laptop instead of a kiosk. So the first thing we're presented with is the client, and there's tabs for all of your documents you need to complete onboarding. We have what kind of 2RC forms, we have 401k forms, direct deposit. So if I were to click one of these tabs, direct deposit form, notice all that information is blank from employee name, social security number. So if we go back over to the front page, my cover sheet.
So this is kind of a cover sheet and just a container for all the data that we receive from the ERP system, confirming, adding, and so forth.
That's all right, fine. So the first thing we're seeing here is kind of a tooltip. If you're going to claim dependents on your insurance or et cetera, you need to provide these documents. So we can put instructions in there that they must click OK to acknowledge they've read. security number, date of birth, and we can do drop downs here. The important thing is anything that, I know it's really hard to see, but there's a red star beside there. If that's not filled out, we can't go on to the next page, and it will prompt that and flag that filled in red for them to easily see. We can do things such as date pickers to help with that, and one more drop down here. And I'll continue on to my benefits choices. So here the first thing it's asking me is to pick my plan for healthcare, dental, and vision. So we can fill these drop downs in with your data. Notice I'm clicking all these plans for employee only. So later on in the form, if I try to add a dependent or a spouse onto my benefits, it's not going to allow it to happen. So notice over here on the right, all these are grayed out because I've not made a selection that's opened those up. So I can't put in additional life amount if I say I want additional lives. If I said I did, notice that form is now editable and I can make selections there. But to speed this up, I'm going to click no on all of these. We're almost done filling out this cover sheet. And a couple more things here, just declining these extra flexible spending accounts. And once again, another tooltip about what I have if I want to claim dependents. I'm going to say I'm not. And we have a review page where you can put that data, that important data, back to them to review one last time. Is this correct? Do you need to make any changes, etc. Okay, I understand that everything's correct. And then we have a button down here for auto form. Remember, I showed you that direct deposit that had no date on there. The rest of these forms are completely blank right now. But when I click auto form, it's going to automatically move me over to the first page of the document. And now notice that it's filled out my name for me. The last 4 digits of my social security number. I put my entire social security number in there, but this program is smart enough to know that we need 4 digits there, so we put those 4 digits there. It's got my address, my city, all these things that I'll fill out multiple times for our handwriting on these forms. So we can scroll down as a user. Notice that it checks boxes in the forms if those need to be checked. We can check those and uncheck those if we need to. But as someone being onboarded, I'm just reviewing this at these reviewing these forms at this point. And if we go over, say, to our next forms, all our data is going to be filled out here. So we can go over to our insurance form here. And if we scroll down, there should be a signature on this form. So it's asking for a signature on this form. We have the ability, if you have a Topaz pad, as Chris mentioned, have that connected on there, and they sign on the Topaz pad. I'm going to attempt to use my computer screen to sign to get my signature in there. I'll click continue, and what it's asking me here is, what do I want to apply my signature to? Do I want to apply it to all the forms, or maybe I want to review and sign one off at a time? But to save time, I'm going to apply signature to all forms. And as we refresh some of these forms, we'll actually scroll down and see our signatures being applied. Let's go back to that insurance. So there's my signature there. Burn into there. If I need to, I can delete that and re-sign it, whatever I need to from there. So the forms I showed you so far are electronic fillable PDFs we downloaded from government websites. But I'll flip back over to direct deposit. This is nothing more than an HTML form. You can build those in. We can take PDFs in any kind of electronic forms and put fields in them to allow you to add data, etc. A couple other things we can do. If I did have a scanner attached to this program, I can scan in documents, and it'll be attached to that package. I can attach documents that are saved on my laptop to this, and I can activate my webcam if I need to and take a picture of that person filling out that application so you have that real-time photo. And then I can save. It's going to ask me to name it. I already have an auto name in there. Click OK. And that form has been done. And right now what it's doing is actually uploading that form into the OnBase workflow. And it's actually sending off my data to do an I-9 verification from the government website. And it would ping the HR representative that needed a notification if that person was eligible to work or not. search. And notice that from Forms in Motion, we have segregated all of our documents, right? So we got that employee cover sheet that I filled out. We have the W-4 from Sheldon Cooper. We have a direct deposit. So that program has stored those documents in the home base, workflows happening on them, and it's all from that Forms in Motion product.
That makes sense? You know you're up for an HR demo this afternoon, did you? But that's a great point. We're not necessarily, we're not we focus on enterprise solutions, and we deploy many enterprise solutions, and we're not necessarily HR experts, but we understand those business processes, and we've done many implementations in HR. That's not what we do. We don't have a sole focus in human services or registry needs. So, John, any specific, I want to keep this informal. I don't know whether you wandered in here and just not interested in any others, or you came here looking for a specific answer to a question, or just curious about Keymark or Home-Base. Is there, we've got integration with Esri, integration with NCFast, other applications that we can show. Is there anything specific that you can hear in your mind that you want to get answered? The more iPad and tablet stuff. I see some a decent demand for the phone guy, just the larger thing in particularly, and it's more folks that are not in the office and need quick. And so a workflow notification comes to them. They quickly hit it and review something and approve it. I see that a fair amount. If it's a caseworker that's out in the field, that's probably not going to be sufficient. And there'll be more laptop or tablet. So they're, Home-Base allowed Well, what we can do, so we capture, say, case number and social. That's all we need here, because if it's a current client, then we've got everything else down there. So we, at least with one of those or both, we know what to associate it with. And so it would automatically be presented within that client's folder or that group.
You need more information on that, to be honest.
Sure.
Because it's key to that.
We could, if you entered, say, some key value here, it's called case number. We entered the case number. And as soon as I put out that field, I could do a database lookup or a lookup to on-base even to bring back other values and present those on the screen. And then if that makes sense. And then release that. So we package that up as the images of the images that we're capturing in the data, XML or whatever, we can put it out to any system really. We don't care where it goes from here. If you had another document management system that wasn't on base, we can pass it on there, put it to another system, ERP system, data. All right. You hang tight back there? You good? So we've got about 15 minutes left. I thought we'd do a quick spin through on-base, just some high-level stuff. Has anybody ever seen on-base? Anybody familiar with it? Okay, perfect. So what we'll start with here is we can drive this wherever you think is interesting. Please pipe up if you have questions. So one of the core tenets of our implementation is that we don't ever, when possible, we don't ever want a user to be in a system and say, oh, I need that document. Close down the system the application that they're in, fire up an on-base client, log in, and then search for their document. We don't want them to have to know how to use on-base or even how to get to the shortcut. We'd rather just bring the documents to them and surface those documents through applications they're using, right? So in this case, we've got a case management system here, and there's several different things we can do. So we can, the first thing Zach's going to show you, presumably, correct me if I'm wrong, is, I'm on that case, and I want to see the documents associated with this record. If I push a button on the screen, and it presents the folder interface of on-base to me. Okay?
So here I am on Olivia Black, in my case management system in CFast. I press the button, press, and
Well, it's a demo, nothing's supposed to happen.
so here I am looking at Olivia Black's folder. Once again, I apologize for this being hard to see, but in Olivia Black's home-based folder, we have a subfolder for eligibility, a subfolder for forms, a subfolder for Medicaid documents, work first.
And these are represented over here as well visually, so just like it's intended to be that way as well. So just like you would look at a tabbed folder, paper environment, to recreate that and make it, that's another training issue for someone who's kind of intimidated of using electronic documents and using a document management system. You can tab through those over there as well, or you can use that tree structure over to the left. So this is a virtual folder essentially. So let's say we have 3 different types of users that are interested in seeing different views of the same sets of documents. So we say, all right, these 10 people, here's your folder interface, right? And those same documents may be present in someone else's view that has another role within the organization, but that document's only stored one time. We're just configuring that folder interface to say, all right, when this person logs in, they need these tabs, and these documents should be present, and if these 3 documents aren't present in this folder, make it red or turn it a different color so that it catches the eyes so that they have to be there. Right? So down here at the bottom, you see if you've got missing OLV results, missing stock certificate, which are okay because they're not always, so they're blue, they don't always have to be present. The one that has to be there is in red. I just said it all over again, but whatever. All right.
I'll be the man behind the curtain. All right, so that's that folder view. One thing that Chris kind of mentioned too, this is security-based. So Chris logs in, he may not need to see the Medicaid stuff, he may not have rights to it, so he doesn't even see the folder to
go changing that application in any way. Typically, to integrate, we don't even have to have conversations with the vendor of the other product that we're integrating with, right? So we're essentially listening to, we've configured OnBase to say, hey, when this user is on this screen and does this, perform this action within OnBase, whether it be do a search, right? Take these two values and do the search for them. It may be take these three values and create a barcode cover sheet. It may be, it can be just about anything that related to OnBase in a way. And so no matter what tab, so there's multiple tabs up here at the top of this application. So OnBase is aware of what tab that person is in, and it actions on different tabs within that application. So that's one of the things that we understand is how is this person going to interact with OnBase and what points within this application are they going to need to see documents and what types of documents. So there's some discovery around that. But the advantage of using this is, or one of the advantages is that, if this ERP system is upgraded from version 11 to version 13, some things are going to change, screen names are going to change, window ID is going to change, maybe, and it's 30 minutes, 2 hours change on the OnBase side for that integration, that loose integration, rather than changing code. That's one of the big values.
Okay, sorry. So Chris wants to see folders when he clicks a button or does a keyboard press somewhere in the application. Me, I don't want to do folders. I just want to set list of documents I always want to return back from that application. So here we have my hit list, and I can look at any of these, such as that bank statement. It's floating up below there. I can double click to open it up in the document view or whatever. That's what I want to see when I click on it. I have that list of documents. But let's say that I'm a caseworker and Olivia Black comes in to talk about her case, and I want to get to her driver's license to make sure that I actually am talking to Olivia Black. So we can do things such as bring back a single document. I just click on her name, and boom, there we go, I got a driver's license. Yep, that's fair. We can continue talking about her case. So we can do that as well. On top of that, I'm going to activate what we call our live integration. So you're going to see a little icon load up here. And what this is telling me immediately that I have 23 documents stored in OnBase for Olivia Black for that case number, whatever value we use. And it's telling me that I'm missing important documents. Remember that little V results document Chris pointed out in the folder? It's an important document we need. Once again, this icon is turned red to let us know there is a very important document here that we're missing. And as we scroll through, it'll show us what we may or may not be missing here. And if we click on any of these documents, such as the pay stub, it's going to load that up with a document to your folder. So that works really good when you're working with two screens. You have your case management system over here, you have this icon over here. I get off Olivia Black's case, I look at Chris's case, the icon's going to refresh immediately and change color if everything's there for Chris, and let me see his list of documents. So let's say that Olivia Black has come in, I've verified her, that I'm talking to her about looking at her driver's license, and she brought me in a document to scan. I want to get that into the OnBase system. So, using a different keyboard press, I have the ability to scan documents directly into OnBase using this integration. Here's my list of documents. Let's say that she's bringing me a birth certificate. I click OK. The first thing that's going to pop up is there are 4 people under Olivia Black's case inside of my case management or my OnBase. Herself, her husband, and 2 of her kids. Which one am I putting this on? So I'm going to select Olivia Black here from that lookup. And if you notice over here on the left, I've already inherited the case number, name, her date of birth, social security number, and address. That's already in the case management system. Let's stop somebody after we manually key that again. We pull it from that case management system. All she does is click the scan button and it's scanned in and hit the index button, and now it's stored in OnBase.
Does that make sense? We're using that data. They already exist in one system. When you type that again, so for example, color document that we can capture on OnBase, look up that screen, and kind of fit it into their business process that they currently do now. And they would probably look at that case and or look at it in their whatever line of business application they were in, look at that transaction record, and then go get the paper, take this, pick it
folder. Traditionally, you would see people physically print out an electronic form and take
So
it
this
to
is
the
what
scanner.
they go to make sure that it's, there's some eligibility on state system, and comes back and says, yes, eligible, they can print that out. Right? Normally print that out, put it in a file folder, or print it out and scan it back in somewhere else. What we're doing here is avoid it.
So I'll click the print button. Homebase is going to intercept that print. All I need to do is select what document this is. So I can select my document type in the case number, hit tab, and then we'll do that audit full form and get Olivia Black's information since it already exists in Homebase. We can get that information. I have to manually key everything in. Thinking Outlook maybe?
Yeah, sure.
So those are third-party systems that somebody's in and we want to give them access to the documents, folders, whatever, from within Homebase. Oftentimes, you also have users that are in Outlook 24/7. That's their line of business application. That's
They
what
don't
they
sleep. They don't sleep at all.
Yeah, they don't. So up here at the top, we have our Homebase tab. We have a real-time integration with all the versions of Outlook. We can get into our document retrieval, look up documents. So what I'm going to load now is a custom query. A custom query is just like a favorite search. So I'm always going to know that I'm looking for a particular set of documents. So I'll store that into a search instead of saying these are the 10 documents I want. I'll always look for those. Let's embed that in a search. So I type in Olivia Black's name and I'm getting to all her documents here. And from here I can open up that utility bill that's stored and view that document, all from within Outlook. Notice I didn't launch another program, I didn't do a login. We got directly to it from within Outlook.
Do you have any workflow actions in there that you can show?
Possibly.
Like, question. So this is, so again, just kind of stay on the same topic of servicing documents, servicing capabilities, folks within applications that they live in, rather than close them down and go work on a workflow item or go look for a document. So in this case, a workflow item has come in, it's assigned to me in some manner, and I'm notified by the link here. I can actually, all within that email message, review the document, make a decision on it, and then actually that transaction approved, denied, or it's somebody else within that email itself.
Yeah. So just to go over that again, we got that pane on the right. We have a workflow task up there at the top. The only one I have activated is I'm investigating program integrity here. So it just shoots off an email to me and says, hey, you've got a new program to check. Here are the documents associated with it. So I have to click any of these documents I need to view them, do my research, and let me know. I have my task up there. I can say my investigation is complete, all from within that email message.
Okay. So,
Yep.